Good morning. Today is Friday, September 24th, 2021. This coming Tuesday night and Wednesday, we celebrate Simchas Torah. We celebrate completing the cycle of reading the entire Torah, and we begin again at Bereshis. And this is a day to celebrate Torah and to celebrate our connection to it. And I share the following insight for that reason. The Zohar, which is the primary text of Kabbalah, of Jewish mysticism, says that the name that we call ourselves, Yisrael, Israel, forms an acronym, Yesh Shishim Ribo Osios LaTorah. Translated means there are 600,000 letters in the Torah. So somehow, according to this Kabbalistic source, the number of letters in the Torah, 600,000, is somehow connected to our identity as Jews. So the first problem with this statement is that the math does not work. The Torah actually has 304,805 letters. So it's not even close. Now, there are a number of answers to this problem. Rabbi Falk suggests that the Torah, together with its Aramaic translation, comes to 600,000 letters. There are others who suggest that many Hebrew letters are actually composed of several smaller letters. For example, the letter Aleph is composed of a slanted Vav with a Yud above it and a Yud below it. Therefore, each Aleph is actually counted as 3 letters, and in this way, the 600,000 figure is accurate. There are some other rather ingenious solutions to this problem. But the deeper question is, so what? What is the significance of us knowing this number? There are 4 times in the Torah where the Jewish people are counted. A census is taken. But the method that is used, which is described in the Parsha Kisisa, is highly unusual for a census. Now, the logical method, for example, this is how it's done in the Canadian census, is to ask each head of household, how many are there in the household? How many are there in the family? And then you add all the sums. But the Torah's method is different. Each person takes a coin, a half shekel coin, and passes in front of Moshe and Aharon, walks in front of these 2 great leaders, and deposits the coin into a box. And then all the coins are counted. It seems unwieldy and inefficient. But the Ramban explains that this method of counting expresses a majestic concept. Ramban says that when each person passed in front of Moshe and Aharon, there was a moment of contact with these 2 great men. And each person was known by name to them. And this momentary contact was a schus, it was a merit. This was a way of counting that bestowed honor and greatness on each individual. This method demonstrated that each individual counts and has value in God's eyes. The previous Lubavitcher Rebbe, Rabbi Menachem Mendel Schneerson of blessed memory, had an unusual practice every Sunday morning for many years. He would stand while large numbers of people would wait in line, and they would pass before him, and he would give each one of them $1. Now, his intention was that each one would take the $1 and give it to tzedakah, to charity, though most people ended up keeping the Rebbe dollar and giving other funds to tzedakah. But a woman once asked Rabbi Schneerson why he devoted so much of his precious time to such an unusual task. It was hours and hours every Sunday morning. And how could he stand for so many hours handing out dollar bills? And he replied, I love to count diamonds. Okay. But Rabbi Falk explains a deeper meaning to this method of counting. Because the total number of Jews counted was approximately 600,000, roughly equal to the number of letters in the Torah. So first, let me clarify that. In the text of the Torah, 600,000, just over 600,000, is the number of men ages 20 to 60 who were eligible to serve in the army. In rabbinic literature and in Rabbi Falk's usage, the number 600,000 becomes a metaphor, a shorthand for the entirety of the Jewish people. Every man, woman, and child is included in this metaphoric number. So 600,000 is not mathematically accurate, but it is the spiritual reality of describing the entire Jewish people. So, Rabbi Falk says that the total number of Jews is represented by the number of letters in the Torah. And this teaches, explains Rabbi Falk, that the soul of every Jew has a connection to a single letter in the Torah. And the reason the Jewish people were counted one by one in the Parsha of Ki Sisa is that this counting was the ceremony by which each Jew became connected to his or her letter. This unique census created the intrinsic bond between the Jewish people and the Torah. And just like a Torah scroll, where if even a single letter is missing, the entire scroll is invalid, so too is the Jewish people incomplete when the voice of any single Jew is silent. Every mitzvah that I do, every word of Torah that I study and that you study, is part of the tapestry of Klal Yisrael, the entire Jewish people. But it's not just a part of that tapestry. It is a necessary, unique, and irreplaceable part of that tapestry. It is a link without which the entire tapestry is weakened. If I don't do a mitzvah I could have done, it cannot be made up by anyone else. If my letter the letter to which I am connected is not there, or is incomplete, or faded, or blurred, or cracked, the entire Torah is incomplete. Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel wrote, "The world is a gate, not a wall." Today we stand coming towards the end of this high holiday season. It has been historic, challenging, surreal, and for some of us, hopefully, one of the deepest spiritual experiences of our lives. And as it draws to a close in just a few days, we find ourselves at a crossroads. We have to ask ourselves a question about this high holiday season. Is it a wall or is it a gate? Is it a wall? Is it the conclusion for us of our Jewish year? Have we finished our Jewish activity until next year? Or is it a gate? Is it a beginning from which to grow and deepen our Jewish roots in the year to come? No one thought that we would still be in this place with COVID restrictions and limitations and the need to protect our health and safety. But here we are. At the same time, notwithstanding those precautions and limitations, and notwithstanding our being tired of having to deal with this, there are more Jewish learning opportunities than ever before. I am excited to continue with you every morning, 10 at 9, Sunday through Friday, in the coming year. I'm excited to continue with you every Thursday night, mining the riches of the Parsha, our mini series on Shemitah. I so much look forward to it. It gives me a routine. It gives me an opportunity to study, to prepare, and then to review and to respond to your questions. And there are so many other opportunities, both in person, hopefully that will grow in the coming months, and also on Zoom. And there are likewise opportunities to be able to grow in terms of our mitzvah observance, in terms of prayer, whether it's in person in shul, or at home, or on Zoom. The opportunities are all there. We have to ask ourselves, are we facing a wall or are we facing a gate? That's what Simchas Torah is. Simchas Torah is the celebration to find your letter, to connect with your letter in the Torah, and for me to connect with my letter in the Torah, to permit it to resonate, to cause it to sing aloud, because only you can cause your letter to sing out loud, just as only I can cause my letter to sing out loud. And only then, if all of us do that, will the Torah be complete. That's what Simchas Torah is for. Let it be joyous. However we are going to celebrate it, let it be a joyous celebration. Let it be a gate into a coming year of study of Torah, hopefully together, and the performance of God's mitzvos. That's why the number 600,000 is so important to connect with the identity of the Jewish people and the content of God's Torah. My friends, I want to wish you a great day, a wonderful Shabbos, and a fantastic conclusion to Sukkos, including Simchas Torah. And I look forward to seeing all of you soon in person.